Hello and welcome to That's Football. It is our Juventus versus Spurs Champions League game. It's the first Champions League knockout game. We're back. Really excited about this. It combines two big passions of mine, Italian football and the Premier League, and really looking forward to it. Rushed back to get on this, so a little bit late with the stream, apologies for that, but let me just get up to date with what's actually happening with the team news because I hadn't actually seen it. So in goal for Juventus we've got the legend that is Buffon. Buffon in goal. Let me have a look. Where have we got everyone going? Yeah, we're live. Good. Get sharing, get liking. Let's get as many people on the stream as possible because this is what That's Football is all about. Talking about football in general. So Buffon in goal, Di Schigilio with Benicia, Chiellini, Alexandro, Cadera, Pjanic, Bernardeschi. I really like Bernardeschi. Signed in the summer. United were actually linked to him. Keep an eye on him. Mandzukic, I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's a bit slow. Douglas Costa and Higuain. So Costa and Bernardeschi, two players to keep an eye out for Juventus. Both could have come to United last summer, and maybe as United fans will be left at the end of the game wishing they had. No Dybala, not fit. Had been out since the start of January. Started training yesterday, too soon. Should be back for the second leg, which will be a cracker. Spurs, Lloris, Aurier comes back into the team for Trippier. Vertonghen, Sanchez, Davies, Dembele, Dyer, Lamela, Ali, Eriksen, Kane. So out goes Son, out goes Trippier from the team that beat Arsenal. On the bench they've got Trippier, Rose, Son, Wanyama, Sissoko, Gazzaniga and Lucas Moura on the bench, not cup tied, even though PSG did play in the Champions League. Moura didn't play at all. And for Juventus, Marchisio, Asamoah, Chesney, Regani, Storaro, Bentancur and Muratori. Trying to bring out a bit of Italian into that though. So very excited by it. It's a shame there's no Dybala, I agree. It is a shame there's no Dybala. A lot of people talking about that in the live comments. But still a cracking game. Juventus versus Spurs in the Champions League. Remember, we've done a few watch-alongs on That's Football with regards to Spurs so far. We've seen them play Dortmund, we've seen them play Real Madrid, and they've been very, very, very impressive. Now it is the business end of the tournament. Let's see what they can do. But first of all, let's see how many we've got. 237 people watching, which is great. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. I know we've probably got a few United standers with us. No live United stand show at 8 o'clock tonight, but there will be a pre-record going up. Snap says he's good. What will Juventus do when Buffon retires, says Chris Windle? Play Chesney in goal maybe. It's his last season, isn't it? And no Italy in the World Cup in the summer, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll be covering all that for you. Lots and lots of things happening on That's Football over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So make sure you are subscribed and get involved because the content levels are going up. But my score prediction, I've got a funny feeling it might be 1-1. I think it might be 1-1. That's my score prediction. Clarence Song says he's a Chelsea fan, but I still want Spurs to win. We will be covering Real Madrid PSG tomorrow night, and obviously we will be covering Barcelona Chelsea next week as well. So lots and lots of watch-alongs coming up. Buffon looks like a nice guy, says Jake Pullman. I've got it on good authority that he actually is. Lots of people saying hi, Mark. Hi to everybody on the live comments. Lots and lots of people joining us, which is great to see. Gotta love the Champions League, says Kieran Byrne. Yeah, big fan of the Champions League. I'll tell you what I haven't done. I'm always out of practice when it comes to... it has kicked off, but I need to get a timer up for everybody so you all know where I am. So the game has kicked off literally just. But let me just start. Okay, that's done there. Now, where is it on here? It's all a little bit new for me, but there we go. Okay, we're kicking off and we're up and running, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted to happen. So, early start, let's see what happens. I'll tell you what, I'm very excited about this game, because if you're just a fan of football, which I am and many of you are, it's always great to see. I watch a lot of Serie A, like I've been saying for a while, and it's good. Early injury on Pjanic there. Or Pjancic, I don't know. I'm rubbish with names. Steve Oku has just subscribed to the channel right now. Big fan. Thanks, Steve. Yes, it's always interesting. And this is what I think there's interest tomorrow to see how good PSG are compared to Real Madrid. But a lot of interest tonight to see how good Italian teams are against Premier League teams. We saw Napoli, Man City, and I thought that was quite close. But obviously Man City were right bang in form then. So Juventus, obviously, traditionally, and 1-0 up. 1-0 up to Juventus. A lovely little dinky ball. I don't know how Higuain gets left. And it's 1-0 to Juventus. Free kick on Pjanic. Higuain sort of makes a darting run behind the wall. Unmarked, little chip forward. And he's just inside the box. And he bangs it, smashes it straight into the bottom corner. We've got an early goal in this game. I bet you're glad you're watching now, aren't you? We've got a really interesting game on our hands. I was just talking about Juventus and how they might do, but it's a lovely little chip. And Dele Alli is probably responsible because he just totally loses Higuain. You can't give Higuain that sort of space. Lovely technique, lovely technique. I'm not a big fan of Higuain. I don't really think he's a 70-odd million pound striker when they signed him, although he probably is now when you look at what we paid for Lukaku. But good start for Juventus, sloppy from Spurs, but Spurs will be thinking away goal, and a lovely goal, lovely goal. Always think clearly. Who scored, says Tubes? It was Higuain who has scored for Juventus to put them 1-0 up in no time, and I better change the score as well. So we're literally under 2 minutes and Spurs are 1-0 down in Italy. So I was just about to talk about that and say, I think the really interesting thing about this game is to see how they compare to Italian teams to Premier League teams. We're not going to overreact, of course, but it is 1-0 to Juventus. Need to update the score already, says Chris Windle. Yeah, we're on that. So it was literally a free kick to Juventus, little chip past the wall. Higuain, unmarked, centrally in the box, and just hits it lovely on the volley. Strong and true, low. Lloris can't do anything about it. It's in the bottom corner, and they're 1-0 down. So, challenge for Spurs. I mean, look, Juventus got to the final last year. They've got a great history in this tournament. They're obviously the most famous club in Serie A, and they've got a lot of good players. And Spurs are going to have to turn up. But Spurs have been to Real Madrid and got a result. They've been to Dortmund and got a result. So they can come here and get one as well. For Spurs, 1-1 wouldn't be a bad result. But they're going to have to try and express themselves. The thing is, I've obviously seen the last 2 Spurs games. I watched them at Liverpool and I watched them play Arsenal. And I've watched them play United, so I've seen their last 3 games. This is their 4th game in a row I've seen Spurs. Some people will be saying I'm a Spurs fan soon. But what impresses me most about Spurs is, and especially at Anfield and against Arsenal, the team that's meant to be able to play football, they get hold of the ball and they move the ball and they dominate the possession. And it'd be interesting to see if an English club, and Spurs, obviously because it is Spurs, can do that to one of the best teams in Europe, which is Juventus, finalists last year. Spurs need to, it's a Premier League advert, isn't it? How good are Spurs really in comparison to the big teams in Italy? So 1-0. Higuain has scored for those joining us a little bit later. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can get 22,000 subscribers tonight. And if you are new, this is the That's Football channel. The football channel for everybody who to just watch and talk about football. So get yourself involved. I think you're going to really enjoy it. I mean, Hutchinson says we're not always switched on at the start. If we've got any Juventus fans or Spurs fans, let us know in the live comments. Who am I supporting? To be honest with you, I love Italian football and Juventus are one of my favourite teams. But also, I've seen a lot of Spurs in the Champions League. And Spurs, to me, are a very inoffensive club. And I like Pochettino and I like the way he plays football. So, for me, this is what That's Football's all about. It's a bit like the World Cup, isn't it, in the summer? It's a bit like the next few games in the Champions League. It's not really about who I want to win. I just want to watch a good game of football. And at the moment, it looks like we've got one because Juventus are in front and Spurs have got to react. I'm going to... Mark is having coffee. I'm having tea. Basil 1, Man City 0, Otamendi own goal. Well, they'll win that. Don't worry about that. Juve's organisation is going to be tough even for Spurs to break down. Well, Harry Kane's going to... This is where, when people say Harry Kane's world class, this is where you find out whether Harry Kane is world class, because he will be playing against organised world class defenders in Italy. and can he get in and do the business there? So big test for Harry Kane. Big players to look out for Juventus. Obviously, Alexandro's been linked to Chelsea, Manchester United. I was very impressed with him in the Champions League final last year. Bernardeschi, obviously, was a player that was linked to Manchester United from Fiorentina, but went to Juventus. Douglas Costa as well. Higuain's already shown what he's got. So lots of good European talent out on there for you to keep an eye on. Kane or Higuain, says Pankaj. And Basel didn't score, says Matthew McFadden. I'm not even keeping an eye on it. We know Man City have got a bye to the next round anyway. Everyone else has got a really tough game, but Man City get given a bye. That's what money can do. Shout out to Victor for subscribing, says Snaps. And Higuain is world class, says Samatar. And are we going to do watch-alongs in the World Cup, says Ewan Gordon. That is the plan. That is the plan. And Chris Windle says, I want Spurs to win. Obviously, I'm English and want an English win. Plus, my dad supports Spurs. I don't know whether there's a... I don't know what's happened here. There's a foul on a Spurs player. It's a foul on a Juventus player. It's Bernardeschi. But I don't know what the ref's given, because where the foul occurs is in the penalty box. So it looks like a penalty to me. Davies on Bernardeschi. It's scrappy. He gets the ball first. Davies doesn't. It's possibly... It is a penalty to Juventus, and it's a Davies who's got a yellow card. So this is going bad to worse for Spurs. They could be out of this tournament very, very fast. It's Higuain on the penalty. If this goes in, Spurs are in a lot of trouble. And it does go in. And it's 2-0, and it's Higuain. He's got 2 goals in under 10 minutes. Lloris goes the right way, but a soft penalty from Spurs' point of view. Ball goes into the box. Bernardeschi doesn't even get it under control, but Davies clatters him, and Higuain steps up and takes the penalty, puts it low and hard. Argentinians on the penalties, you know, they're just world class at it, aren't they? And even though Lloris goes the right way, and he does go the right way, he can't keep it out. I think he might even get a hand on it, but it's well hit, right height, right area of the goal. You might ask questions about whether Lloris should save that. He gets a hand to it, but it's 2-0 to Juventus, and we've only been going 8 minutes. 2-0 to Juventus, and Premier League at the moment is getting its trousers pulled down and having a bit of a smack bottom, because that is not good. That is not good from a Spurs point of view. You know, I put Spurs up there with Manchester United in relation to how they defend. Fortunately for Spurs fans, Spurs can also attack very well as well. They have an identity both going forward and backwards, but their defence has let them down thus far. It's 2-0 to Juventus. And let's see what Spurs have got. They've got 80 minutes to try and get something back. Always think clearly, says you can see 5-1 coming in. Spurs need to get a grab of this game, because if they don't, their Champions League hopes could be over very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. I think there's quite a big gap actually between the legs in this stage. I don't think they play again until maybe 3 or 4 weeks' time, but that'll be a long time for Spurs to contemplate on this result if they don't get something back. They've got the players. Dembele's on the ball at the moment. Eriksen. You know, I think Dele Alli is somebody who needs to step up in these sort of games. He's not had a great season. Higuain will get a hat-trick, says Phil Foster. Rest in peace, Spurs, says AJ Nell. And Active Dan says Spurs lack experience in the Champions League. Dybala isn't playing. He is not playing. I don't think I've ever said he is playing, but he isn't playing. So please everyone, use the share option underneath the video screen and share this link onto Twitter and Facebook and everywhere. Let's grow this community. Let's get everyone involved. And do subscribe if you're new. Get your bell on and get involved, because we've got lots of content coming up. We've got the PSG Real Madrid game tomorrow night as well. Chris Windle, I think that's a good idea about the World Cup. We'll have to speak to the draw team. Eric Dyer is a joke, says John Sherrell. Ali is crap, says AJ Nell. And just missed 8 minutes of the game and Spurs already 2-0 down. What a joke, says Camille. That's the problem. I didn't think I was going to get on till 8 o'clock. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I got on a bit early because it's nearly all over for Spurs. But crossing to the box there, Harry Kane just banged off his foot. Not really of a chance. Sapatashi, it's his first time on That's Football. Welcome, pal. Welcome. And this is a team who hammered Real Madrid. Ali's overrated. Son is way better. Even Spurs fans knew it. Nigel Jones, I do agree. If this stayed 2-0 and Spurs nicked a goal, 2-1 would not be a bad result. Fejan, it's Juventus at home, well and truly at home. 2-0 up. Higuain, quick, clever free kick, found him in the box, arrowed it low in the bottom corner on the volley, and then a penalty for a foul on Bernardeschi, and Higuain stepped up. And again, went low and to Lloris's right. I don't know, he's just gone into the back of Bernardeschi there, but it was a bit of a cowardly shoulder barge through his back. Lamella, I think. Five-star, can we block 5-star please, Tubes? I don't like that sort of language. So 5 stars just basically said, you said tune in to the match tomorrow to see Dybala play. He's been out for months, you're clueless. He's not been out for months. He's been out since the start of January, which is 1 month, and he actually trained yesterday, so there was a chance that he was going to play today. Juventus have decided not to risk him, probably quite rightly, so Dybala isn't on the bench, but there was a chance he was going to play. He trained yesterday, and he's been out for 1 month. So whoever you were, 5-star, you've just made yourself look a bit of a plonker. I know a lot about Serie A, and obviously know a lot more than you do about Dybala, so sit down forever. Do I rate Harry Kane to Keith Fogarty? Well, it's a live comment show. What do you all think? I think Harry Kane's very, very good striker. I think he's a top-class striker. I think some people are too eager to call him a world-class striker. These are the sort of games where he becomes a world-class striker. I think Harry Kane's been brilliant this season, but he's got a massive 6 months. His Champions League, he's got to do it in the Champions League. He's already done it in the Champions League, let's not forget, but this is the latter knockout stages. Big games need big players, as we've seen with Higuain so far. And he's also got the World Cup as well. So I think in August we'll know whether Harry Kane's world class or not. I think at the moment he's top class, but he could be world class in the space of 6 months. But Juventus sitting back. I mean, this game is only 14 minutes old, and Juventus are 2-0 up. And they are dominating possession. They're not dominating possession because Spurs are going through that bit at the moment. Ewan Gordon says Napoli or Juventus to win Serie A. I mean, look, my attachment, if we have any Italian or Juventus fans out there, is I've loved, obviously Premier League is my thing because I'm English and I'm English based, but I've loved Serie A since 1990 when obviously we had the Italia 90. I am that old, and not long after that, it was a penalty by Davies. Not long after that, Channel 4 started getting Serie A on Sunday afternoons, and Gaza went over there and David Platt. So I used to watch a lot of it. And the thing about Italian football in those days, and probably a little bit more now as well, good cross coming in there, but Chiellini breaks it down. The good thing about Italian, Harry Kane, was he offside? Nearly. I think they've got a corner. The good thing about Italian football is that it's very, very tactical. So whilst Premier League football, can be Man City are winning 1-0 against Basel, by the way. If you like your tactics and you like, nip and tuck games, that's very much been Italian football for years. And so I've watched it for years, Italian football. I really do like it. And but for many years, it's almost been a bit of a. It's not as strong as the Premier League and it's not as strong as La Liga, and that's been proved by the amount of times they've won Champions Leagues in recent years. But they did get to the final last year. I thought they were very good in the first half, and Real Madrid just did them in the second half. But Italian football is on the up. There's a lot of money in it now, some really good players in it, and I was really looking forward to this game tonight because Juventus massive club. Spurs, probably the form club in England at the moment. And at the moment, Bottle Job says, axe you mad. Pratic says, how good is Juventus' defence? Well, look, Italian defences are very good. But, having said that, you look at somebody like a Darmian or any Italian defender that's come to the Premier League, it's a bit of a graveyard. So I always think that English clubs can get Italian defences. You only really actually see how good Italian defences are when they come up against clubs from other countries. So we'll see how good they are. But Chiellini's a very, very good centre-back, as we know. There's another Juventus player taking a tumble there, but it looked a fair play. He's played it on. 3 against 3. Dele Alli, what is he doing? He must be an infuriating player. And Harry Kane goes down looking for a penalty, and referees, nothing given there. Nothing given there. Let's have a watch. Dive by Kane. Dive by Kane. That's not a penalty for me. Curtis Bowyer says Harry Kane just dived. That's just Pratic. John Sherrill says penalty. That should have been a penalty, says Victor. Dive by Kane, says Phil Foster. It was a dive, to be honest, says AJ Nell. Is Jose Mourinho more suitable for Serie A? I would tell you what, Mourinho would do very well in Serie A, and already has at Inter Milan, funnily enough. So yeah, he would do well. Matthew, if you could do me a very quick favour, I've just realised that we've probably got a lot of United standers looking for an 8 o'clock show. There is a video that's gone up. I'm live at the moment. If you could do me a big favour, just copy the link from this video, go to the United stand video from 8 o'clock and just chuck it in as a comment and say we're all on here. That'd be great, because there's no live comments on there. And also just make sure it's up. I know it's a big ask, but there might be a lot of people interested. I did mean to put the link in that. In fact, I should be able to do it myself. So, end-to-end stuff at the moment. It's a good open game for a Serie A game. I think Juventus will certainly be looking to shut this game down, but they're not having much joy doing that at the moment. Again, we've not even had 20 minutes in this game. It's very, very early, but there's so much going on. Spurs having a good bit of possession at the moment, but Juventus will be well organised. We're literally in the 19th minute. It feels like it's been a lot longer, but it's been a very fast start. Man City are 2-0 up against Basel. As I said, you know, they'll be able to play their kids in the second leg. They will absolutely probably win that 4 or 5-0. Juventus on the attack here, down the right-hand side. Something off the ball. Ref's played it on. Here's Bernardeschi. I like the look of Bernardeschi. I liked the look of Bernardeschi when he was at Fiorentina. I'll tell you what though, the next goal, if you're a Spurs wanting to winner, the next goal is going to be absolutely massive in this game. If it goes to Juventus, I think Spurs heads will drop. Being away, they obviously won't drop at the moment. Here's Harry Kane on the right hand side, cross coming in. Dele Alli, oh, it's just over him there. It's a shame, but it will be a corner to you, Spurs. Lots of people watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think we've had a few United standers joining us now. Thanks to that, Matthew, for doing that. Do drop a like on the video, subscribe and share. Let's get this That's Football community growing. We've got loads of games coming up. PSG versus Real Madrid tomorrow night. I don't know what's on at the weekend. You know what? It's a democracy. What game is there that's decent at the weekend? I'm not sure. FA Cup? I'm not sure there's any FA Cup games that are good. Maybe we could do one from Europe. Nothing doing from that corner. And Pjanic will score the next goal, says Matthew McFadden. Do you think United will beat Sevilla? Says Clayton 123. I think when you look at the English clubs in the Premier League and the big ties in these semi-finals, someone remind me if Bayern Munich have got, but PSG, Real Madrid, I think Real Madrid will win. Barcelona, Chelsea, you've got to say Barcelona. This one, Juventus, Spurs, I think the next goal will sort this tie out. If Spurs get a goal, I could see them getting back to 2-2. If Juventus get a goal, I think the heads will drop. So this is in the balance. United, Sevilla, I just think Sevilla aren't doing that great at the moment, but Sevilla, their style of football could cause United problems, the way they pass and move. Obviously, Man City are going to beat Basel. Liverpool will beat Porto, I think, as well. So I think the quarterfinals are going to be very, very interesting. But there's some cracking games. This is only the first one of the first knockout stages. Bayern have got Besiktas, says Josh Hodgson. They should be all right with that. Snap says, loving the view, guys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, really appreciate it. If you are new to That's Football and this is all new to you, make sure you subscribe and get involved with the channel. We're going to go for 22,000 subscribers tonight, so get subscribing. Let's see if we can do it. Sammy wants 3-0. Who do I think? Clarence Song. Who's going to win the Champions League then, everybody? Get telling us in the live comments for that. Who will win the Champions League? I'm going to say Real Madrid. And I know everyone's going to laugh at me about that, and Amith has just said PSG will beat Real Madrid, but I remember Real Madrid last season not starting off very well, and obviously they're not going to win La Liga, but they know they're not going to win La Liga, and I think that allows them to focus on the Champions League. They've had the break. I think they'll win it. I do think they'll win it. I still believe that Real Madrid, their midfield three, is the best midfield three in the world. Kroos and Modric and Casemiro. Ronaldo's still one of two of the best players in the world. I think Real Madrid can win it. Yeah. Pratik doesn't like Madrid. Barcelona will beat PSG. Rest in peace, Neymar, says Clarence Song. Never rule out Real, says Joe Buddha. Barcelona, says Samatar. Furian says Man City. As much as it pains me, I don't think you can discount Man City at all. I mean, one of the things we will start to notice over these coming knockout games, when we're watching Real Madrid and PSG and Juventus tonight and Barcelona and Bayern Munich, we're going to see how good those teams are. And at the moment, this Juventus team started well, but I don't think Man City would be that fearful of it. Kroos needs a fresh start, says Tyrone Williams. Come to Manchester United. Barca will win it, says Adam T. Well, the thing about... We did it on this channel, actually, didn't we? We did El Clasico just before Christmas. And Real Madrid dominated them in the first 45 minutes. Couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Second half, they came out as a different team. Man City are 3-0 up against Basel. Second half, Barcelona came out a different side and battered Real Madrid. But I don't think there's a lot between them. Ewan Gordon thinks Bayern Munich will win it. I don't know. Bayern Munich are a funny one. I've not seen a lot of Bayern Munich this season. Sorry, and as you know with Bayern Munich, they dominate their league like a one-team pub league, so it's hard to tell. Lewandowski will take Bayern there, says Aboy. Man United will win the Champions League, says Bussing, and Chiellini is schooling Harry Kane at the moment, says John Sherrell. Alessio says, why can't you show us the game? Because it's illegal. Daryl Johnson says, how do I call in? You don't, because it's not a call-in show. Harry Kane! Oh, what a sitter! What an absolute sitter he's just missed there. World class? I don't think so. That is a massive miss from Harry Kane. Unbelievable. I don't know how Juventus let it happen. It's a chipped cross from Eriksen, and Harry Kane is literally on the 6-yard line, centrally, with the ball landing on his forehead. He can't miss. He heads it, and he heads it straight at the keeper. It should be 2-1. That is an absolute sitter by Kane. Really is a sitter missed by Kane. Even Lacazette scores that. Wow, Spurs. To be honest, at this level, at any level, you've got to score that chance. But they don't come across. They don't come across very often against the Juventus defence like that. He's an absolute sitter. Let's be honest. Even Lukaku scores there. That says Romez. I think even I score that. It was absolutely sitter territory for Kane. I think he's got too much time to think about it. I think it's almost too easy. Fellaini would have scored that, says Football Red Devils. And Brevy Boy says, no, it was a bit too difficult for Lacazette. Maybe you're right. City are 4-0 up. Yeah, I can't believe Harry Kane misses that. He's got to head it down as well. Why does he just head it? Why doesn't he head it down? I mean, Buffon's a good goalkeeper, but that's straight at him. Free kick here for Spurs, though. They'll swing this in towards the goal. Eriksen behind it. Rubbish free kick. He'll get another go. And he shoots wide. What price Manchester City winning the quadruple this year, says Mandy Smith. Well, you'd expect them to beat... Arsenal in the League Cup. They're still in the FA Cup. They've won the Premier League, so they're 50% of the way there. The hardest one is going to be the Champions League, obviously. Make sure you subscribe, everyone. We've gone past 21,700, so if you are new, make sure you've subscribed to That's Football. Thanks, everyone, getting involved. If you love your football, this is the place to be. We're going to do a lot of these. Just general football lovers, aren't we? It's not 4-0, says Josh Hogg. Does it matter? Basel aren't coming back anyway, are they? And the press are still going to be living up their arse. Lukaku, the GOAT, wants an Italian manager as Manchester United manager. What, Conte? PSG versus Juve for Champions League final. You heard it here first, Tommy P. I don't think this Juventus team, if I'm all honest, would cause Man City many problems at the moment. But they've still got Dybala to come back in. Ali! Oh, he was nearly in. Just about to pull the trigger on the penalty box. A lovely little pass into him, but good tackle. Juventus are in here. This could be 3. This could be 3. Oh, Higuain! Oh my God! Brilliant break from Juventus. Higuain gets it onto his left foot. He's gone for the bottom corner, and that would have been hat-trick and game over. I love Italian football. I'm looking in the crowd there, and I'm feeling all nostalgic looking at the Italian fans and that. I just love Italian football, and oh God, there's players he's shot round, but it's very, very close. Nearly scored, as John Sherrill says. Lovely break, and it was from Dele Alli's wasted chance in the box. Fantastic game, though. Loving it. Loving it. Fantastic game. We still only had half an hour. And John Sherrill says, brilliant game to watch. It is. It's an absolutely fantastic game to watch. Lukaku, the GOAT, says Juve are underrated and everybody ruling them out. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think Juventus have got a chance. I just think, for me, it's Real Madrid, Man City, Barcelona are the three favourites, followed by Juventus. There's like three groups really. Juventus, Barcelona and Real Madrid with Man City. Then I think you've got Juventus, PSG and Bayern, and then everyone else behind that. Apart from teams like Basel who are going to get knocked out. EMH Gaming's got a good point, which I'll be happy to answer, and I'm sure anybody knows anything about Serie A would agree. He says Juventus are a strange team as they sell players like Vidal and Pogba, but consistently produce results. What Manchester United need, consistency. The thing about Juventus though is, and it's obviously very prevalent in Germany with Bayern Munich. Like what Bayern Munich do is they've got more money than anybody else. Harry Kane, oh, it was going wide anyway, but Buffon made sure. What they do, Bayern Munich obviously they can buy anybody they want in world football, but they scoop up all the best talent in Germany. We've just seen it, haven't we, with Schalke and Goretzka. And they do that consistently. Dortmund are their main rival, but they buy players from there. It's like Manchester United if we were challenged for the title by Man City before, but then we go and buy Man City's best player every year. That's what Bayern Munich do, and they dominate German football because they dominate getting the best players from German football. In Italy, it's a bit similar for Juventus. They do. It's changing a little bit with the money that AC Milan and others are getting, but Juventus can pretty much go and get the best talent in Serie A. So they might lose a Pogba and Vidal, but they'll go and get a Pjanic or whatever people call him from Roma, or they'll get Bernardeschi, an up and coming great player from Fiorentina. So Juventus are able to replace players because they've had that pull of Juventus to get the best players from the league. But it's changing. Like the Premier League, it is changing. AC Milan have got a lot of money now as well. Josh Hodgson wants Ancelotti at Manchester United if Mourinho gets sacked. Omiya says, is Eric Bailly better than Laporte? Yes, of course he is. He's just injury prone. Kev McGee says Dele Alli's been poor so far. He said something else, but I'll use the word poor. He's been like that all season. I said at the start of the season this was a massive year for Dele Alli to really stamp his authority, because he was great last season as one of the best players in Europe, and he's, I think Lingard's had a better season. Cockney Red says it's good to see Dybala being rested for his first season for Manchester United. We'll do the second leg anyway, but we'll definitely see Dybala at Wembley. And it's a shame we didn't get to see him tonight because, everyone goes on about Dybala, but how many people actually watch him regularly? I mean, I can't even say I do. I've probably seen him a handful of times this season. But that's always my aim with most teams, is to try and watch them at least a handful of times throughout the season, because it's good to educate yourself on what's going on in Europe, but it's very difficult to watch Juventus week in, week out. Alec Dukas says Dele Alli is so overrated, second season syndrome. I don't think it's his second season though, is it? Troll says he's been very impressed by Alexandro for the last 2 years and feels Luke Shaw will never get up to his performance as of 2 years ago, and we should get Sandro. I like Sandro, like I say. I thought he was, for me, he was Juventus' man of the match. Harry Kane's onside and he scored. It's 2-1 to Juventus, but it's a goal for Harry Kane. They sprung the offside trap. That is game on, everybody. That is game on. And Harry Kane owes Spurs that, because his miss from the header was terrible, but he springs the offside trap perfectly. It's Sandro who plays him on. I think Juventus think he can't be onside, but he is onside. Sandro plays him on from the far side. He rounds Buffon and he finishes it off his left foot. And to be fair, that's brilliant from Harry Kane. Really, really good. Slipped in by Dele Alli, beats the offside trap, rounds Buffon and puts it into the net. That's game on, because if this game ended 2-1, Spurs will take that. Suddenly, this is the wonder of the Champions League. You can be out of it at 2-0. You get a goal back and away from home, and suddenly you're back in it massively. And they deserve it. They do deserve it, because they've Harry Kane should have scored that goal a few minutes ago. 2-1. What a game. What a game of football we've got for you. Still 10 minutes to half time. Spurs back in business, says Joe Budder. This game is amazing, says AJ. Now, I'll tell you what, I agree with you, AJ, and I think everybody will feel like this. I've really been looking forward to this Champions League, and I'm really glad that we've got That's Football, because I would just sit and watch this on my own, and it's great that we can all sit and watch it together as fans of whatever club we are. I know we've got a lot of United fans, because you'll have followed me here from the United stand, but the reality is, this is, I suppose you keep an eye on teams in case United play them, but we don't all just watch United, do we? We watch other teams, and we watch other big games, and the Champions League this year, it's so wide open. It's just massively intriguing. So many games I want to watch from this first knockout stage, and we're not even in the quarterfinals. I'm just so excited about all the football we've got coming up over the next few months, and the World Cup as well. It's fantastic. I think somebody just said, why can't Manchester United win the league? Champions League. We can't win the league. Why can't United win the Champions League? I think Manchester United can win the Champions League, but they're in the third group of being able to win it. My top pot, unfortunately, has Man City in it, but it's definitely got Real Madrid and Barcelona in it. The next pot of 3 would be PSG and Bayern Munich and Juventus, and then the next pot of 3 would be United and Spurs, and potentially Liverpool, I suppose. I can't think of anybody else, but they could win it. Of course they can win it, but they wouldn't be in the favourite group at all. Adam T tomorrow, mate. Who do you support? I think City will win the Champions League. They're destroying teams, says Karen. You can't really judge City because they're beating Basel. Is Aurier good? Oh no, he doesn't beat Chiellini. Spurs are pushing hard at the moment, and I'll tell you what, if Spurs got a result here, that would be a massive statement for the Premier League. And on top of that, it would be a very, very worrying statement for Man City, that Man City have basically destroyed everybody in the Premier League, and then you've got Spurs coming and beating Juventus. How good is City going to be in this Champions League? How was Harry Kane's goal, says Summit? Lovely little slip through, beat the offside trap, slipped in by Ali, rounded Buffon and put it in. EMH Gaming says, I love this channel. I was subbed when it was Mark Goldbridge, and you did stuff like the Rogue One review. Great work, Mark. Thank you very much. Remember, subscribe. Remember to subscribe and get involved. We're going for 22,000 tonight. It can be done, but everyone needs to make sure they click the icon in the bottom right hand corner and subscribe and get sharing. Let's get some new people involved with this channel, and let's get growing it. The road to 30,000 subscribers for the World Cup. I think that's what we'll call it. Juventus not getting a lot of the ball at all at the moment. It is all Spurs. The ref has been unnoticeable, means he's been fantastic so far. That's a good point from AJ now. A free kick there, straight at Buffon, and he's held it, which is good. Liam or Noel Gallagher, says Ben Parsons. Liam for me, but they're both City fans. Well, as we approach half-time, well, 5 minutes to half-time, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another goal. Spurs will be very happy from where they were after that first 8 minutes. 2-0 down. Poor defending from a free kick and a very good finish by Higuain. Then the sloppy tackle from Davies leading to the penalty, which Higuain put away. And Juventus, great. Well, I wouldn't say a great chance on the break. Higuain could have got a hat-trick and made it 3-0, and then you'd really worry about Spurs. That didn't happen. Harry Kane missed a sitter, and then after that, he's had another chance, and he's put it away in 2-1. Obviously, Juventus will be happy with 2-1, but that away goal for Spurs really does set up the tie nicely. I'm sure there's going to be more goals in it, but even if there wasn't, the second leg is poised brilliantly. But if Spurs can get back level, they suddenly become the favourites in the tie. Eriksen, Dele Alli. Oh, he's got to do better. He's got to do better. Eriksen again dictating things. Lovely little cross into the box. Dele Alli. He's got to get his head over it. He can't, and he heads over the bar. Eriksen's pulling the strings at the moment. Susham says that Juventus are unnecessarily inviting pressure in this game. I'd agree with you on that, Susham, because it's not like their defence is, watertight. They have conceded chances. Harry Kane scored 1. He should have had 2. Dele Alli should have done better there. They have been carved open a bit, so I don't know what Juventus' game plan is at the moment. Like I said, this performance from Juventus, yes, good to be 2-1 up, but I don't see... I'd say that Spurs are the team on top in this game at the moment, and Juventus are the home side. But it is an entertaining game so far, Joe Buddha. John Hogan says 2-2. I went 1-1, so that's never going to happen. Here's Eriksen. Slips it wide to Aurier. Cross comes in, and they put it out for a corner. Somebody asked before, do I still think that Harry Kane's the 4th best striker in the Premier League? So I put him 4th behind Sanchez, Aubameyang, and Aguero. Aguero is better than Kane. Look, it's all very subjective, but I would take Aguero over Kane. I would take Sanchez over Kane, and I would take Aubameyang over Kane. Yeah, just shows you the high quality of strikers we've got in the Premier League at the moment. Jonathan Barrera says Mourinho out, Pochettino in. Bit of a set two there between Mandzukic and Harry Kane. Just showing Harry Kane's goal again. Took it very well. Eriksen's man of the half, Ibrahim Duradula. I don't think you could argue with that. Sanchez is not an out-and-out striker, says J Day. That's fair enough. For anyone who's interested in Arsenal, they're playing on Thursday. We won't be doing a watch-along for that. We will. We won't, because that's football. But the United stand is going to be in Sevilla next week. Flex is there. We've sorted the tickets out and stuff, so he'll be over doing fan cams there. Harry Kane's just gone down a bit here. Christoph says European matches are always awesome. They are. I love it. I love it. It's like Champions League when it's like this is like what the World Cup used to be like, where you get teams that going across from different leagues, cultures, going up against each other. The World Cup now is international football sort of dead, I think, but obviously Champions League has benefited from that, and seeing decent Premier League teams up against decent Serie A teams, and you get to gauge whose league's better, and you get really intriguing games that you don't, Premier League we get used to what we see, but these come round not so often, and I think Spurs have given a good account of themselves. Nightmare first 10 minutes obviously, but they've certainly come back into it really, really well, and they'll be pleased with 2-1 at half time. They could argue that it maybe should be 2-2. Harry Kane is the best striker in the world, hands down, says Johan Hadj, and he's a Madrid fan. Well, that's because you want to sign him. As I said before he even scored in this game, I said Harry Kane has got to do it in the Champions League between now and the end of the season, and then he's got to do it in the World Cup. And if he does, he can probably start looking at that world class category. But I think to be world class, he's going to have to go to Real Madrid. And I think he'd score a lot of goals. Lovely running by Douglas Costa there. That's going to be a penalty. It is. Aurier, lovely bit of skill from Costa. I mean, he's not been in this game, and he just suddenly skips past two players. He's passed Aurier into the box. Lovely bit of skill. Controls it. Lovely. He did Aurier in the first place. He does Sanchez. It's the most blatant penalty you'll ever see. There's no doubt. Lovely little bit of play. Why didn't we sign this lad at Manchester United? Oh, silky skills. Silky skills. Another one. Oh. So Higuain for the hat-trick. And he's hit the bar. Oh my God, we've got everything here. And that's it. That's the end of the half. My Lord. He goes centrally and Lloris stays home, but it smashes against the bar. And this is good from a Spurs perspective. Well, this is a half that's had absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Definite penalty. I don't think anybody can argue about that. 100% a penalty. Brilliant bit of play from Douglas Costa. Aurier brings him down. Higuain is looking at a hat-trick. Smashes it straight down the middle. Lloris stays home. Would he have saved it if it had been on target? Probably. And it goes straight against the bar and it stays at 2-1, and Spurs have a lifeline, I suppose, in many ways. What a half of football though. What a half of football that has been. Really, really enjoyed it. And give us your thoughts. Let's start interacting. So, story of the half, 2-0 down after 8 minutes, 2 goals for Higuain. Spurs came back into it, much the same as the way they did in Anfield, really. And they get themselves back to 2-1. Silly defensive mistake by Aurier. And all that good work could have been undone. And then Higuain misses it. So it's still game on. But really enjoying it, aren't we? Really enjoying it. That's what it's all about. And I don't think we've had a better 45 minutes in the Champions League. And what a for a long time. And nice that it's the first game as well. Let me come back to you on the live comments. What a good game we are watching, says Joe Buddha. Seriously, Dembele is dominating that first half, says Lil TV HD. Well, he was very impressive against Arsenal and he's continued that in the Champions League. I mean, for Spurs fans, you've already got him. You've got no issues, have you? But 31 in the summer, so I'd love United to make a move for him, but maybe he's a little bit past what Manchester United would be looking for. Half-time analysis says Hassam, Higuain is just a B-Tech Tevez. All Ali and Douglas are overrated. Buffon too old and bang average. Still don't think Kane's world class. He's decent, not world class, never. Hassam, get yourself some Barocca, mate, and boost your mood a bit. There's got to be something positive about that half. I thought Dembele was great. I thought Eriksen was pulling the strings. I think Juventus' defence was actually much more shaky than I thought. They did give up some really good opportunities. Harry Kane missed a literal sitter from the 6-yard box. Lovely cross from Eriksen. It's on his head. And instead of heading it down, he heads it sort of middle of goal, and there's Buffon to save it. Harsh Sangora is very impressed with Dembele, and we will be streaming for tomorrow's game, PSG versus Real Madrid. Susham, we will. United need to go for Youngblood, says AJ Nell. Eriksen bossing the game, says Darth Vader. What a rubbish penalty from Higuain, says Mark J. Well, his first penalty was so good. I think what he's decided to do there is, I'm just going to smack it down the middle. If he'd gone where he did the other time, Lloris doesn't even move. Spurs should be level, says Ibi. I'll tell you what though, if that Higuain goal goes in, what are you thinking in that Spurs dressing room? 2-0 down, nightmare first 10 minutes. You dominate then, you get yourself back to 2-1. Arguably you should be going in at 2-2, but you think 2-1, away goal, that's great. And then sucker punch right before half time, you're back where you started, 3-1, two goal gap. Missed the penalty. So Spurs have got to take stock at half time and think, you know what, we could be 3-1 down, we could be 2-2, but we'll take 2-1 and let's build on it again in the second half, because they are dominating the possession. Spurs midfield is definitely on top of that Juventus midfield, and I'm sure Spurs would take 2-1, but in the balance of the game, they shouldn't settle for that. They should be going to at least get back level. Juventus have caused problems on the break. Costa was very quiet in that game, but that burst of speed and skill nearly took the game away from them again. It was a funny tackle by Aurier. I don't know why he does it. Reckless, but he is a bit of a reckless player. Son isn't injured, John. He's on the bench with Trippier. Both of those dropped for this game for Aurier, funnily enough. Both fullbacks have given penalties away for Spurs. Aurier's a liability, says Sim Sabali. And Italian teams know how to play football. I've never been so excited for a game in a while, says ha 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 banter. It's a cracking game. It is a good. Who do I think will win tomorrow's games? To Trevin Wilkinson. I think Liverpool will beat Porto, and I think Real Madrid will beat PSG. I'm looking forward to that game, Real Madrid PSG, because I think we're going to really see how good PSG are. He spent a lot of money. I don't want PSG to win the title as much, the Champions League, as much as I don't want Man City to, because it's just checkbook management, isn't it? But I think they're going to be both very, very competitive in it this year. Nobody commands midfield like Dembele, says Enoch. If Higuain scored that, Juventus would be flying, and now Spurs are up. Harsh says. Crizia Prince is glad that Manchester United didn't sign Aurier. Where is Lucas Moura, says Rahul. He's on the bench as well. And Davies is not having a good game, says Af. And this team has only conceded 1 goal in the last 16 games, says Pratic. Is that Juventus? Is that Juventus? It must be Juventus, because Liverpool scored 2 past them, didn't it? Spurs. Hope you're changing sides, mate, says Ewan Hacken. We need to learn lessons from Juventus to not go too deep, says Crizia Prince. 2-2, says Mark. All you talk about is who's the best striker, while Liverpool fans sit back and know we got Firmino, says Adam Evans. Look, Firmino's in my Fantasy Premier League team, to be honest, Adam. My front 3 in the Fantasy Premier League, and they've done very well for me over the last few weeks, is Firmino, Vardy and Aguero. So I'm not discounting the fact that Firmino's a good striker, but he's not in the top 5. I think Aubameyang's better. Aguero and Kane are definitely better. I think Sanchez is better, although he's not really played as a striker at United yet. He can do. Do you think Firmino's better than Lukaku? I suppose you're probably right. I think you're right, mate. Yeah, maybe he does come in the 5th position. I put Lukaku in there because his goals to game ratio has been good. But if you're asking me whether I'd rather have Firmino or Lukaku up front, I probably would take Firmino. So yeah, it'd probably be 5th, to be fair. It'd be very interesting for Dybala. Dybala's not playing. If anybody thinks Dybala's playing, he's not. He trained yesterday. There was a chance he was going to play. They've not risked him. He will be definitely back, barring another injury, for the second leg, which obviously gives it another element, which is again why Spurs should try to get back level in this game, because Juventus with Dybala will be a better side. But I think Spurs can beat Juventus. You know, I'm not disappointed to say that, because I do have a soft spot for Juventus and I do like Italian football. But from what I've seen thus far, I think that Spurs can certainly do the Premier League proud and get a result here. Remember, if you're new to That's Football, subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're going for 22,000 subscribers, so do subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and get involved. We will be live tomorrow for Real Madrid versus PSG as well. So get involved with it and subscribe, and please do share the video and get involved with that. It was a lovely bit of skill by Douglas Costa, to be fair. Loved it. Loved it, and deserved the penalty to be scored, because it was really brilliant bit of individual play from Douglas Costa. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen for Higuain. And he did score 2 good goals, but arguably he maybe should have scored another one as well. Didn't work out for him. Didn't work out for him. Right. Let's come back to you. What are we thinking in the second half? I think it'll. To be honest with you, I've got no idea what's going to happen in the second half. I think it could go either way. Either way, but what I don't want to see happening is I don't want it to be game over from this first leg. I think that ruins the second leg, doesn't it? And I don't think it will be. I mean, can I see Juventus coming through and winning this 4-1? No. Can I see Spurs putting it totally to bed? No. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tight. Alex Hunter thinks Porto can cause an upset against Liverpool. Terrible penalty by Higuain, says Darth Vader. Lukaku is nowhere near Firmino, says Shruti Sharma. And by a Manchester United fan, he's a very intelligent player. And Matthew McFadden has got a question for everybody. I've got the opportunity to sign Bernardeschi for 32 million plus Mata in Football Manager. Do I accept? I like them sort of questions, Matthew. I would say yes, because Mata's touching 30 and Bernardeschi, I think if I'm correct, is he a teenager still? Or is he 20 now? I'd take Bernardeschi. Yeah, he's going to be one of the best players in the world. I was very excited when United were linked to him, although I never believed we would get him. But I was excited that we were linked to him. But once Juventus came in, Italian lad, he's going to go there, isn't he? What a game it's been, says Luke Purchase. It has, Luke. And Mark, I put 50 quid on Eriksen to score. Fingers crossed. Mark in the chat. And that's from Marcus Mark. Yeah, I think you might be losing your 50 quid. I hope you don't, Marcus, but we've not really... Eriksen's been brilliant, but we've not really seen him in and around the goal yet. But you never know. Free kick, shot. Harsh Sangura says, Matthew, 100% get Bernardeschi. And Higuain penalty wasn't so bad, says Leon Sherpoff. As everyone says, looks a bit stupid because Lloris is standing still, but a few centimetres lower and it's in the back of their net. I think Lloris might have got it if it had been on target. Hassan says Lucas Moura is very good on FIFA. It'd be nice to see a bit of Lucas Moura. I don't think we will though. Is money ruining football, says Pankaj? It's a question in itself. A bigger question than I can answer now. Mark, I wish we were chasing Costa instead of Perisic last summer. Oh no, Perisic would have been very good at United. It just didn't work out. Ha banter, yes I do. Foolish tackle by Urier, says Pawan. I don't think he even got a yellow card for it. So quite lucky because Davies did for his. And Pogba should be playing like how Dembele is playing right now, says Dark Zero. I don't think he's got the speed across the ground and the low centre of gravity to do that. Dembele's got a really good posture and movement that not many people have. Mark, who would you get rid of Martial or Pogba, says Dante Rule? The impossible question. I wouldn't get rid of Martial. United should get Eriksen instead of going for Dybala. I think Spurs look in a very strong position in this tie, but if Spurs don't have Champions League football next year, I think they've got a problem. I think some of their players will look to leave. Mark, Man United still have a record of unbeaten running the Champions League between 2007 and 2009. When we are going to see this again, says Karan. Matthew's just updating us on his Football Manager. He's got a midfield and attack now that consists of Verratti, Pogba, Goretzka, Bernardeschi, Martial and Lukaku. Unreal. Apart from the last name. And Sander says, shall we do PSG versus Madrid Watchalong tomorrow? You've already committed to doing it, Sander. Don't ask the question. We want Sander doing a Madrid versus PSG Watchalong tomorrow, don't we? Come on. Of course we do. We definitely do. Yes, we do. Subscribe, everyone. Bottom right-hand corner. We can do it. We're only 223 short of 22,000. So click that subscribe button and get involved with the channel. Oliver Banks, how is Mad Marcus? I've not spoken to him for a few weeks, to be honest, mate. He's doing his own thing now. It's his own choice. So all the best to him. Pereira as number 10 for United. Dybala as a starter. Pereira from the bench as John Sherrell. Hit the subscribe button. Says haha banter. Well, I think hopefully most of you have already subscribed, so click the share button and get new people on watching, and then we'll get more subscribers. That's how it can work. So there's a share button. Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, and do your thing. This is a good question if you are a United fan. SLJR says Bernadeschi or Tahith Chong. Choose one. It's Chong for me. But Mourinho's got to play him, of course. If Mourinho signed Bernadeschi, he's probably going to play him because he's signed him. So he's got to play Chong. That's the next obstacle, because I think he's not far off being ready. Do I think Spurs will win, says JD Football Gaming. You're a mind reader, pal. I was just about to give my prediction for the second half. I've got a funny feeling that there will be 2 more goals in this game, and I think Spurs might win it 3-2, the way things are going. Is Marcus banging that Lisa one? Only asking, says Kieran Byrne. If you genuinely think that Lisa Twitter account is genuine, mate, have a look at how recent it is. Have a look how many followers it's got, and I don't think that is a real woman behind that account at all. At all. I'd be amazed if it is. It suddenly appears, and there's suddenly these sort of conversations going on. I think it's a figment of someone's imagination. In fact, I'd put money on it. But, you know, that's Twitter for you. Mark, would you rather PSG or Man City next round, says Ewan Hacking. You know what? When it comes to my club, my favourite games are the ones where you test yourself. So I wouldn't really care. I'd probably say let's have City, because if Mourinho is the man for United, it needs to be proved. And if he's not the man, then, and City came and destroyed us, then at least we can move on, isn't it? So I would always take the tougher task, yes. Second half's about to kick off. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Here we go. Second half's about to kick off. Come on, kick it. Can you kick it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Second half's underway. What we're going to see in this second half. It's been a fantastic game. Absolutely superb so far. If anybody's missed it. 8 minutes and Juventus were 2-0 up. Spurs then dominating, but right before half-time, Juventus with a penalty missed by Higuain. It would have been his hat-trick as well, and it keeps it within touching distance of Spurs. And I think Spurs are going to win it 3-2. That's my prediction for you. Timer's up there below for you. Chris Hall says you're doing a neutral show rather than United Stand. Look, there is a video that's gone up at 8 o'clock on the United Stand. It's not live, but sometimes I've got to be a little bit selfish. And I wanted to watch Juventus play tonight against Spurs, and I chose to do that rather than do United Stand live. So I apologise if that's offended anybody, but there was a pre-record that went up at 8 o'clock, and you know, I wanted to watch this game tonight. Jack Rigby's just watched the United Stand video. Welcome, Jack. What do you think? What do you think about the video? Mark, there was a show in which they were pointing out United had brilliant passes, Beckham, Scholes, Giggsy and others. We don't have anyone like that now except Pogba, says John Sherrell. Salim Hussein says, Mark, that football app. I don't know what that means. Lucas Moura's warming up, says Kwesi Brown. And it's 2:20 AM in India. Wow. The dedication some people have to watch football. Ali's touch is so off, says AJ now. We've got another card here. This is to Aurier, who, to be honest, is very lucky not to have had a yellow card in the first half. So Aurier is going to miss the next game anyway. Should he have played in this game, Trippier was brilliant against Arsenal at the weekend and will probably feel quite hard done by. But Aurier, very lucky. Lawrence Atherton wants to see Carrick back for United. He is a very good passer of the ball. Sebastian United, are you still mates with Mark? I'm Mark. I think you're talking about Marcus. Yes, yes. Will Bitterland says Dybala can't play second leg. A squad is released for both legs before the first one. I've never heard of that. And the second leg's not for 3 weeks. So I can't believe that that's true. Jack Rigby says, great video on the United stand. It's basically Manchester United's best 11. He says, personally, if we don't win a trophy this season, I'm Mourinho out. I don't like his play style. Fair enough. EMH Gaming, how's Sebastian Mark? Who has better potential, Chong or Sebastian? So Sebastian's my little boy. He's only about 7 months now. He likes kicking the ball, but I'd say Chong's got the better potential at the moment. I don't know whether he's left-footed or right-footed yet. Really, I'm hoping he's left-footed. That wand of a left foot would be a nice... Sandro is dynamic, would be a great replacement for Valencia at Manchester United, says Lucas Taylor. But he plays on the opposite side, Lucas. Valencia plays on the right and Alexandro plays on the left. And to be fair, Alexandro, it's his fault that Spurs scored because Spurs scored because Juventus were playing offside and he kept him on. Romez Trill says United would crumble in a game like this. Well, Spurs have already beaten us, haven't they? So, look, the reality is, if you want to talk about United at the moment, the reality is that Spurs, Liverpool, Man City are better teams than us, and we've got to start improving in relation to that. David Blaine, if Manchester City won the treble, what will that mean for football? It will mean that you can just totally buy it, and do we want that? But it's all Spurs again at the moment. Juventus really struggling, and I'll tell you what, as somebody who watches a lot of Serie A, the Juventus fans won't like this. They won't like this at all. How many penalties in this game? We've had 2, Bradley Davidson. 2. 1 missed, 1 scored, both by Higuain. Okay, we'll ask the question again. Who does everybody want to win? Because a lot of people are saying, who are we supporting? I'm obviously neutral. I am neutral to this, but who do people want to win? Here's Costa. Let's see what he can do. No, it's Sandro, sorry. Cross comes in. Lloris punches. Here's a good little bit of play here. Oh, he's fell over. Chiellini. Here we go. If Eriksen gets that touch right, he's laughing. Pratic wants Spurs to win. Lukaku, the GOAT, wants Juve to win. There's quite a lot of people want Juventus to win. David Blaine, Lamia Sayed, Luke Ashworth wants Tottenham. Lucas Taylor wants Spurs. Scott Hastelgaard wants Juve. Football Skills and Tricks wants Spurs. AJ Nell wants Spurs. Corey Jones wants Juventus. Prince9 wants Juventus. Chrisia Prince is natural. I think he means neutral. Draw, says Navit. Spurs, says VJ. Juve for Byron and Jake. So, fairly good split, which is good. Fairly good split. I'm not doing a Skype show tonight, Salim, no. That was a bit blunt, wasn't it? No, I'm not doing one tonight. No, I'm not doing one tonight because... I'll do this, and I've already done a video for the United stand, so. Tommy says he always supports the English teams except Liverpool. See, I'm not one of those. I just see them as a rival of United, and if Liverpool or City or Chelsea win a Champions League, then it's one more Champions League that United haven't got. So I don't actually support the English clubs. I'd rather a European club win it. I wouldn't mind to be honest, I wouldn't mind Spurs winning it so much, but I'd hate Chelsea, Liverpool or City to win it. Spurs are doing very well. Look at how they press the ball as well. And they're causing Juventus a lot of problems at the moment. And I think my 3-2 to Spurs thing looks like a good bet at the moment. Jack Rigby, who've United got next? Huddersfield in the FA Cup. Now here's Costa again. And again, he's got Higuain into the box. Lots of Spurs players around, but there might be a shot on. And Bernardeschi's shot was tame. I think Spurs have just got to be a bit careful about Juventus on the break. Sandro as well. Costa. I mean, Douglas Costa's looked good, but what I would say is he's been very in and out of this game, and you'd wonder in the Premier League whether he'd just go missing a little bit too much. But when he's on it and gets that little bit of space, he's a good player, but he's not really been in it that much. AJ Nell quite rightly saying that Juventus look deadly on the counter. Here is Costa again, and he's hit it at the ref there. Jay Hart, anyone else ditching the Valentines tomorrow to watch the football? I'm not. That's why Xander's going to do the PSG Real Madrid game, and I'm going to watch it on delay. That's an interesting stat from Sadiq Samad. Juventus have had 89 passes so far, and Tottenham have had 328. I think Costa is, when you say he's quite old, Leon, I think Douglas Costa might be about 28. I don't think he's like 30 or anything like that. Lewis Lee MUFC says Man City are through. They're 4-0 up. They were through as soon as they got that tie. It's a brilliant tie for Man City, that is. Here we go. Juventus on the attack again. For the first time in a while, but that's an awful... I don't rate Mandzukic at all. I remember even when like you play as Juventus on FIFA, he's so slow as well. I don't rate Mandzukic, but obviously Juventus do. Dybala is not injured. He's back from an injury. They didn't feel he was fit enough to play tonight. Costa's 27, says Lukaku the GOAT. So I wasn't far off. Thoughts on Ryan Mason's retirement? It's sad, isn't it? I mean, obviously serious head injury. He's only about 26, isn't he? It is sad. But he's not the first footballer to have to retire because of injury. And it does still happen, and it is very sad. Hopefully he can... go on and have a successful career in something else, because it can be difficult for footballers when they've had that dream taken away from them to deal with it. Spurs on the attack again. Dele Alli. Juventus! Ooh! Bernardeschi there, showing that he's decent off his left foot. Coming in from the right-hand side. Nice switch of the play. He's got a lot of space to come at Ben Davies as he treks into the box, gets it onto his left foot, and good shot. Lloris is always going to deal with it, to be fair, but he did well. Didn't he do well? Susham's right, 2-1 is still a good score for Spurs, but I'll be amazed if this stays 2-1. Great fast football, says Jazzy now. Ooh, header. I tell you what, Juventus are having the chances here. I think it's Higuain again. Cross comes in, gets up. That's Mandzukic. Gets up over Aurier, directs the header, it's straight at Lloris. Anywhere else, that's 3-1. The very good, thanks Chris. I hope everything's good with you. I like Ben. I was talking about Bernardeschi last summer when United were linked to him. Very, very good player. Very good. I think he played for the under-21s, didn't he, in the tournament last year. Harsh thinks Spurs need to get back in. I think Juventus have had probably their best 5 minutes in this game for a long time. But to be fair to Spurs, it's hard to keep up the way they play for a full 90 minutes. They're probably just having a little bit of a breather in this game at the moment, but could still go either way. Mr. Red Devil, do I think Manchester United can win the Champions League? I think the only reason they could win the Champions League is because Mourinho, over 2 legs, can tactically deprive attacking teams of goals. But I'd be stunned if United do win the league. Here's Higuain. He's got 3 players around him. He's got no support. He tries to win a free kick, and the ref says play on. But Juventus have won it back again. And the ball goes out. I don't think United can win it. I think United said at the start of the season, if we can get to the quarter-final, Higuain's been booked for complaining, if we can get to the quarter-final, then that's what we should minimum expect. So that means we've got to beat Sevilla. And then quarter-final, let's see what we can do. But we're not one of the best teams in the world at the moment, are we? So we shouldn't be expecting to win the Champions League. I think I can think of 5 teams that are definitely better than us in Europe at the moment. And, you know, Spurs have done a very good account of themselves in Italy tonight. But do you think United could impose themselves against Juventus that way? No, I think we'd see a totally different performance where we sat back and tried to hit them on the break. So it's not impossible for United to win it, but I'd be very surprised if we did. Tyrone Williams is a Pjanic fan. He's had an okay game tonight. I think he's struggled. I think Dembele is such a monster of a midfielder to play against that they're probably not used to somebody with that athleticism in the Serie A, because Serie A is a little bit slower. All leagues are slower than the Premier League, to be fair. Lewis Lee hopes that Barcelona give City a whopping in the future. I think, look, that if you don't want Man City to win the Champions League, and I don't for the same reason I don't want PSG to win it, because they're not proper clubs. They are clubs that have just been absolutely piped in oil money, and I don't want that to happen. So the only hope is that someone like Real Madrid or a Barcelona would batter Man City, and I'm not totally convinced. I think it would be a lot closer. I think City have got a good chance. Juventus are knocking on the door for a 3rd goal here. Spurs have sort of had a bad coming up for 5 minutes, definitely, at the moment. Dybala's not fit, Hamad. He did train yesterday. There was a chance he was going to play, but he's not fit. Karan, I think Sevilla will give United a good game. I know Sevilla aren't having a great season at the moment in La Liga, but they're still a decent footballing team, like most teams from La Liga. You know, Celta Vigo nearly knocked United out in the Europa League semi-final, and who were they? A lot of sloppy fouls at the moment. So, City, Basel 4-0. 2-1 here. Tomorrow you've got Porto versus Liverpool and Real Madrid versus PSG. Then next week, on Tuesday, a week tonight, we'll be doing Chelsea versus Barcelona. Bayern Munich play Besiktas in the other game. And then you've got Sevilla, Manchester United and Shakhtar Donetsk versus Roma. Yeah, Roma, I think most teams, I think Roma, Shakhtar Donetsk should expect Roma to get through, but I think the quarterfinals are going to be, if you predict those quarterfinals, you could have Roma there, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Juventus, Man City. That is them. I mean, this stage is brilliant. That's going to be meltdown. Unbelievable. Bit of a cold. Sevilla did do very well. They won 2 Europa Cups in a row, didn't they? Football Stars OMG, do I think Barcelona can win the league? The Champions League? I think at the moment, the way things stands, my 3 favourites to win it. And again, I don't want them to win it, but I think Man City, Barcelona and Real Madrid would be, one of those 3 would be my tip to win it as things stand. Obviously a lot can change, because if 2 of them get drawn against each other in the Champions League quarterfinals, then but some people think Real Madrid will go out to PSG. I don't want that to happen, and I don't think it will. Red Devil Dylan says, are there any non-Manchester United fans watching this show in the live comments? If you're not a United fan, get commenting. Aurier has been poor, says Mario is the boss. Yeah, he's not been great. CR7 Ronaldo, I'll be doing United Sevilla on the United stand, as I do all United games, so it won't be on here. Honest thoughts on PSG, says Anthony's Film. My honest thoughts on PSG, and this is an honest answer, is I haven't really seen PSG that much, because I'm not going to waste my life watching French football. So all I've seen of PSG is what I saw in the Champions League a few months ago. So it's going to be very interesting to watch them tomorrow and see what they're all about. But I still think Real Madrid will beat them. I really do. I think that midfield, the midfield 3 of Real Madrid. If you've got a strong midfield, then you're onto something, aren't you? And that midfield 3 of Real Madrid is the best in the world as far as I'm concerned. Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric. Uzumaki is a West Ham fan. City fan, says Chris Radian. The only one. Christian Donku is an Arsenal fan. Chelsea fan is I Am Jonesy. QPR fan, says Fullness. West Ham fan, says Dijas. Arsenal, says Lord Vader. Barca fan, says K. Bayern fan, says Shakwat. Juve manager is good, says Syed. So we've got a few. I mean, that's what we want with That's Football, by the way. I don't just want people from the United stand coming over. It'd be nice to get fans from other clubs getting involved. Norwich fan, says Football Skills and Tricks. Porto Liverpool tomorrow. Should we do Porto versus Liverpool as a watch along, or Real Madrid versus PSG? There's no point in asking, is there? It's got to be Real Madrid. Aaron Stone says he supports MK Dons. How are we doing for this? Oh, we're on 21,823 subscribers. So click that subscribe button. Let's see if we can do 22,000 before the game's done. If you haven't subscribed, bottom right hand corner, there's a little That's Football icon. Click it, subscribe. And if you have subscribed, make sure you've got your bell on so you get notified when we go live. I am going to do a little match reaction straight after this, by the way. You're welcome to join me. It will only be a little 5-minute thing, but it's always good if you've watched the game to do a little bit of match reaction as well, I think. So we will do that. AJ Nell's a Bristol fan. And Zing Hei Ho is a supporter of the United stand, which is good to hear. And this game with 25 minutes to go, I'd say, is looking like it could stay at 2-1. It's not often that the half-time can change it. Oh, here we go. This is be good. No, Sanchez does quite well. I'm not a big fan of Mandzukic. I don't know whether anyone else is, but I'm not. Why isn't Son on the pitch, says Nicola at 21. I'm surprised he dropped Son. I don't think Lamella's all that, to be honest. So what I'm going to do while this game sort of goes through a bit of a phase, I just want to have a quick look at what weekend fixtures we've got, because I'm sure we can do a watch along on the weekend, and I want us to pick a good game. So FA Cup, Huddersfield United, I'll be doing that on the United stand, West Brom, Southampton, Brighton, Coventry, Sheffield Wednesday, Swansea. So it doesn't look like there's a lot on Saturday. Spanish La Liga, nothing there, nothing doing there. Bundesliga, Bayern, Wolfsburg, no. Italian Serie A, French League One, no. There's nothing. There's no good games on Saturday. Then that's solved. And Sunday we've got Rochdale versus Tottenham. Cracking game. We've got. Just keeping an eye on the game as well. Serie A, Napoli are playing AC Milan, Sampdoria. No, good shot there from distance, but Buffon keeps it out. Torino, Juventus, Napoli, Spal, Fiorentina, Atlanta. There's nothing doing. Marseille, Bordeaux, Lille, Lyon. No, not interested in that. I think it's safe to say La Liga, Atletico Madrid, Atletico Bilbao, Betis, Real Madrid. There's not really anything. There's not much doing on the weekend football game wise, I'm afraid. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I like to do a watch along on the weekends, but we've got lots of Champions League, so that makes up for it. Free kick here for Spurs on the edge of the box. The guy who said Eriksen might fancy this. It's very central. I would have Eriksen on it. I'm sure Harry Kane might fancy some of it, but surely it's Eriksen. Would I take Eriksen at United, Mr. Red Devil? Yes, I would, wouldn't you? We do like that sort of creativity, but a lot of people don't want us to have a number 10. They want us to go with a midfield 3. AJ now says Eriksen top bins coming in. Well, remember the guy at half time who said he's got 50 quid on Eriksen to score. So this is your moment, pal. We're all hoping for you. Patrick Mays, you're meant to be a United fan. Eriksen, it's in! You've won your 50 quid, mate! It's not the best free kick in the world. He hits it low. But fair play. I'll give the lad a clap. I can't remember his name. He said at half time, I've got 50 quid on Eriksen to score. And he's done it. He didn't go high. He went low. Go low, go low. It is a free kick. People are saying Ali dives. He sees the tackle. But he purposely hits it low. And Buffon, he's on his side. He's done that old fatal error. He's going to the left and he can't get back right quick enough. Lovely goal for Eriksen. And Buffon gets a hand on it, but it's 2-2. And that guy, whoever you are, he had 50 quid on Eriksen to score. And he's done it. So well done, mate. Really pleased. I'm glad you shared that with us at half time as well. But well done. 2-2. Suddenly this looks great for Spurs. Really does. Really does. And if you're a Premier League fan, it's interesting to see that the Premier League is doing so well. Two. I said 3-2, didn't I, at half time? King Azzy, 2-2. What a goal. Tony says, looks game over after 8 minutes, but Spurs dug in. Will there be an EFL Cup final watch along? Says Martin Donko. I can tell you now, mate. It shouldn't take me long. The short answer is probably no. Well, we could ask Xander to do it. Xander might do it. The only reason I say no is because United are playing Chelsea at 2 o'clock and it's Arsenal Man City at 4:30. So the United game would finish at about 3:45, but then we always do the call-in after the game, and that's a big game if United win or lose, so we'd be missing the start of it. But if Xander wants to do it, he can do it. We've got 900 people watching. We've had a boost. So make sure you subscribe. We're getting close to 22,000 subscribers as well, which would be fantastic to hit that tonight. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. But this game is going off. It's going off. It's 2-2. From 2-0 down, Spurs have got back to 2-2. Totally deserved it. Very equal game, I would say. I think Juventus were getting a bit dominated, but they got back into it. They've had their chances as well. Very equal game. And here we go. Higuain springing the offside trap. No, he doesn't. Spurs play the offside trap quite well. They do play it quite well. Who scored? Says Owen Hutchinson. Eriksen scored from a free kick. Hit it low. And Buffon wrong-footed himself a bit. Great result for Spurs so far, says Chrisia Prince. Sadiq thinks Juventus are going to score. I tell you what though, this is why I like the Champions League, because not only is it a battle of who's best between Italy's Serie A and the Premier League, but also the game changes so much, but with every goal that's scored when it's tight. That's why I want the games to be tight. I don't, the City game was always going to be boring, and they're 4-0 up away from home against Basel, so the second leg is just like, don't even bother with it. But this game, I think, is, no matter what, is going to have something riding on it at Wembley, and it changes, like I say, with every goal. If this game stays 2-1, I think Spurs are quite confident going into it. They've got that away goal, get at them at Wembley. If it's 2-2, they know that a 1-1 or a 0-0 and they're through an away goal, so they probably play a little bit more reserved and try to hit Juventus on the break, and Juventus know they've got to score, so it just changes all the time. The next goal, if Spurs get the next goal 3-2, they'll probably stick the same, and Juventus have got to go at them. If Juventus go at 3-2, then Spurs probably be quite happy and they've got to go at them. So it's the ramifications of every goal is really, really interesting. Chris Windle says, I think you should note the scorers and everything below. Yeah, we can bring that in. We used to have it. But Storaro is on for Mandzukic now. I don't rate Mandzukic. I know I've said it a few times, but I do not rate Mandzukic at Juventus at all. I just find him very slow. So we've got 15 minutes left, and there's Dembele again. He's a cracking player, that Dembele. Is Juventus looking to get on the break again? Higuain out wide. It's Bernardeschi on that left foot, and it deflects into Lloris's hands. Well, I think whatever happens in this game, I think the headline of Comeback Kings is going to be very relevant, isn't it? Because either Spurs are going to go on to win it, or they're going to come back from 2-0 and get a draw, or Spurs are going to come back from 2-0 and Juventus are going to come back and win it. So I think it's safe to say that Comeback Kings is probably line to go with. But there's still lots of time left in this game. Pankaj says, Mark, you're starting to rate Dembele a lot. If anybody's listened to me on the United Stand, and I know a lot of people don't, but every time we play Spurs, I always say it, Dembele always plays well against us. I don't watch enough Spurs to know that he plays like that every week, but he is a very, very good midfielder. And he'd be perfect for United. He's so confident on the ball, he's so fast, he's so tenacious. I really do like him. But he's not going to come to United because he's 31 in the summer, so he's not the answer to our prayers, unfortunately. But very, very good player. And he was a very good player at Fulham. Spurs pushing. I can't believe I've got another cold. I've had like 4 colds already this year and we're only in the middle of Feb. Right. Yellow card here for a Juventus player. Storm in a teacup. Nothing to worry about. It's a little bit late on Davies, to be fair to the lad. Well, I don't think Juventus are going to nick this. I don't know what everyone else thinks. I've got a funny feeling Spurs are the ones that could do it. With just over 10 minutes to go. Switch of the play to Aurier. He's been very disappointed in this game, but he's just going down the right hand side at the moment. Dele Alli has been better this game, but I still don't think he's anywhere near what you'd expect of a player like he was last year. And Juventus, again, looking to break. Higuain's build-up play has been quite good, but he's lost it there. The Goldbridge kiss of death. I mean, the impressive thing about Spurs is they don't actually play with any natural width. They do play with width, but they don't use natural wingers. They use their fullbacks. And I think what I said about Costa is very true as well, isn't it? That he's a good player, but he does go missing a bit. Douglas Costa, I mean. Right. Kane and Eriksen for Spurs, says JH. Teams cannot defend these days. It's so frustrating, says Phil Foster. Here's Costa again. And he's won a corner there for Juve. We're doing. Okay, so we are... Which club do you think has the best attack in the world? Says Football Stars OMG. I think it's a very difficult question to answer at the moment, and I think we'll know more in the next sort of few weeks, really, because we're going to see Champions League games and we're going to see these teams play against each other. You know, Man City are going to play a decent team next round, unless there's a real shock and Sevilla get knockers out, or Shakhtar knock Roma out, or Porto knock Liverpool out. I think the quarterfinals is just going to be a blast of really good sides and going to be really competitive. So we'll find out who the best attack is, because until Man City play someone like Real Madrid or Barcelona, or PSG play Real Madrid, we're not going to know who these. You know, they might be bullies in their own leagues, but can they do when? You know, it's going to be very interesting. So I think we'll know. My prediction at the moment is the best attacking side in football at the moment is probably Barcelona, but I might be wrong on that. Harsh Sangara says Pochettino's going for the win. And Son's coming on. For Dele Alli. He's been better today. It's not been his best season in general, really, but he's been better today. 10 minutes to go. Son for Ali. Will we get a winner? I said 3-2 at half time. That guy put 50 quid on Eriksen scoring, so you know, maybe we can have a bit of a queen sleep. A clean sweep. Get your words out. Get your words out. Oh, come on. I hate it when it does this. Corner for Juventus. Oh, over the bar. Oh God, I'm sorry about this. I'm really struggling with a bloody cold. I can't believe I'm getting another bloody cold. This is what happens when you use public transport in the UK. You just get people sniffing and coughing all over you all the time. Eriksen for Spurs. So, we've got 5 minutes left in this game. 5 minutes left in this game. Dali Ali is a strange footballer. I think he sucks, says Jack Steels. JH2016 is a City fan. He's loving the result they're having over in Switzerland at the moment. And I have a feeling this might be 2-2. Mark, how is Sane back but Bae been out since October/November, says Adam T. Because Man City, for whatever reason, have a very, very good medical team and United don't. very, very different injuries though. But Pogba was out for a long time as well, wasn't he? What is Bae's injury? We never get told. Mirko Nardecci says, go Tottenham from Italy. Thanks, Mirko. I think you're the first Italian we've had on tonight, so it's nice to get people involved. We know that we have a lot of people who get involved from around the world, so good to have that. Bae is made of glass, says Lord Vader. We've got about 5 minutes left in this game because they don't normally add that long on, but it's Costa into the box again. Decent cross. Oh my God. Vertonghen. It's like past the post. He nearly puts it in his own net. You've got to say it's good defending, but this is the thing about Douglas Costa. When he gets going, he's really good. Really good. But he's out of the game for so long. Another corner for Juventus. Can they nick it late on? Remember to subscribe if you're new, everyone. Bottom right hand corner on the hologram, subscribe and get involved with That's Football. We will be live tomorrow night with PSG versus Roma. Well, we got a couple of minutes left. Disgusted having a cold again. Really not happy about it. Well, Lucas Moura's coming on now. This is this his first minutes in a Spurs shirt? He's coming on for Lamella. So not much of a debut for him to get a couple of minutes, but PSG or Real, says Diego Hutter. I'm going to go with Real Madrid. I think they're going to win that. Right. Man of the match. I think, well, I'll talk about it in my match reaction, but I think it's got to be one of Spurs midfielders. I think they've been fantastic, and it's not Dele Alli. From Juventus' point of view, I don't think I would give it to a Juventus player now. I think as the home team, they've probably not done enough, and I think Spurs' performance is more impressive because they are the away team, and possession-wise, to come and do that is really impressive from them. So, I mean, if they could, it'd be even more impressive if they can nick it straight at the end. But we'll see. Here's Mora going on a little bit of a run there. Very similar to Costa, really. Likes to get the ball and run. Some people are saying Dembele, some people are saying Eriksen. I don't know how long they're going to add on. I thought I saw it there, but it's always hard in the Champions League. I don't know whether 2 minutes. Yeah, this has been consistent over the years. If you watch European football, especially the Champions League, they add nothing on. Even though both teams, I think, have made 4 or 5 subs altogether collectively, they don't add 30 seconds for every sub and all the injuries. It's like, you know, we've got things to do in Europe. We're not adding much time on, so you only get 2 minutes. But Sandro's done well there. So he's done well. They're messing around in their own penalty box here, but they've won the goal kick, so they'll be pleased with that. If you are a United stander and you've been over here from the start, there is a United stand video that went up at 8 o'clock that you can go and watch after this if you are so inclined. I think you'd like it. It's Manchester United's best 11, or what United's best 11 should be. Eriksen's just coming off for Wanyama here. It's really about killing the time now, isn't it? We're 9 short of 21,900 subscribers, 8 short now. So if you didn't subscribe while you were here, bottom right hand corner, click that subscribe button and get involved with the channel. Thanks everybody who's joined us for the watch along. It's nice to be able to just generically watch football together, isn't it, and enjoy it. I think the first half's been better than the second half, but real good advert for football, and especially the Champions League, which I think is going to be the best Champions League in years. Those quarterfinals you can predict are going to be 8 teams, and God knows what they're going to throw up in relation to fixtures. But before we get there, we've got the likes of Chelsea, Barcelona, tomorrow night PSG, Real Madrid. I think United, Sevilla is going to be close. Some really, really good games to watch, and really excited about it. But this one has finished 2-2. Thanks everyone for watching. I am going to do a match reaction because I've done the match, so I may as well do a match reaction. The link is in the video description for that. I'm going to literally just finish this video and start it on there. So thanks everyone for watching. Go on to United Stand and watch the video there if you're a United fan, or hang around, click the link in the video description, and I'll see you on there in about 60 seconds time. Thank you everybody. I'll see you in a moment.